करुणा प्रचुर हेन प्रभु कथा गेला आचार्य ठाकुर कहा मोरा स्वरूप रूपा कहा सनातन कहा दास रघुनाथ पतित पावन कहा मोरा भट्ट जुग कहा कविराज एका काले कथा गेला गोरा नटरा पाषाणे कुटिब माथा अनले पशिब गौरांग गुणेर निधि कोथा गेले पागो से सब संगीरा संगे जे कइल विलास से संगन पाया कांदे नरोत्तम दास जय वैष्णव ठाकुर जय वैष्णव ठाकुर जय वैष्णव ठाकुर जय वैष्णव ठाकुर जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद जय तैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 रामा राम राम हरे हरे Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Vakreshwar Pandit Tirobhav Titi Mahamahotsav ki, Sri Hera Panchami Mahamahotsav ki, Srila Prabhupada 125th Anniversary Celebrations Mahamahotsav ki, Nitai Nitai Gaur Sitanath Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Gaurachandraya. Om Namo Bhagavate Gaurachandraya. Om Namo Bhagavate Gaurachandraya. Om Ajnanatimmirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadadi Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Gurun Sri Udapadakabalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabha Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Danghai Degirim Yat Kripatamaham Mande Shri Gurum Dinataranam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine. Hare Krishna. Very special day today. We have two important festivals. Today is Hera Panchami and the disappearance day of Srila Vakreshwar Pandit Thakur. It is often mentioned that on the day of the disappearance, Vaishnavas are obviously particularly merciful, but it is also important that we try to understand the teachings from their life. That is a very integral element of our philosophy. इन भक्तों को अंग्रेजी समझने में असुविधा हो रही है, पीछे बलि प्रसाद प्रभु अनुवाद करेंगे, इस सुविधा का आप लाभ उठा सकते हैं. So we'll first deal with the pastimes of Hera Panchami festival. Okay. Now, my only fear is the speaker will not be focused on at all. This such wonderful display of timely display of pastimes and DT photos, etc. I want to thank Aniruddha Kirtan Prabhu and sometimes Nitai Prasanna Prabhu for this service. This requires you to stay alert and awake. That's also important. So reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrit, Grantaraj Sri Chaitanya Charitamrit, Madhya Leela, chapter 14. These are the performance of the Vrindavana pastimes.
Hera Panchamira Dina Aila Janiya Kashi Mishra Kohiraja Sayatna Koriya. So the Hera Panchami festival was coming hereby just after the Gundicha Marjan and the Jagannath Ratha Yatra had happened. So this had happened. So Maharaj Prataparudra talked very seriously and attentively with Kashi Mishra that this should be celebrated very opulently. How opulently? Kalja Hera Panchami Hobe Lakshmi Rabijai Ache Utsava Kara Jena Kabu Nahi Hai. So there will be a function of the Hera Panchami which will be coming up now. This is also called the Lakshmi Vijay. Lakshmi Vijay means the victory of Mother Lakshmi. So Prataparudra, King Prataparudra is instructing Kashi Mishra that hold this festival in a way that it has never been done before, even in Ratha Yatra. It should be done so opulently. It should be held in a way that is unprecedented. So the Hera Panchami festival, Panchami, 5th day, generally they say it takes place on the 5th day following Ratha Yatra, according to Srila Prabhupada in the purport. So here Lord Jagannatha has left his wife, the goddess of fortune, Mother Lakshmi. And what he has done is that he has gone to Vrindavan. What else do you expect Krishna to do? So he went to Vrindavan. And this Vrindavan is the Gundicha temple or the Sundarachal. He goes from Neelachal, which is effectively Dwaraka. You can even call it Kurukshetra because it in many ways recreates the festival of the gopis pulling Krishna by the Ratha to Vrindavan. In any case, we must understand that Neelachal is effectively in the mood of opulence where Krishna is as Dwarkadish. By and large, is most of the year he is performing his pastime as Dwarkadish. But at the same time, he is Radha Viraha Vidura. He is constantly feeling the embankment of separation from Srimati Radharani, Vipralambha. That's the mood that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us. Because Jai Gaura, Shai Krishna, Shai Jagannath. So Mahaprabhu was Krishna Viraha Vidura because he's in Srimati Radharani's mood. And Sri Jagannatha is Radha Viraha Vidura. He is feeling separation from Srimati Radharani. And therefore he goes to Sundarachal or Gundicha or Vrindavan. So it's mentioned here that because of this separation, Lord Jagannatha decides to come and see. He goes to Sundarachal, so Mother Lakshmi wants to see her consort. She is the goddess of fortune. She comes to Gundicha to see Lord Jagannatha because she is feeling separation. So it's extraordinary how for devotional service we say Anandamaya Abhyasya. We are supposed to be happy in the spiritual platform. But a big portion of our whole philosophy is about separation. Feeling sad and developing the bliss from this sadness of separation. Anyway, so this is celebrated as Hera Panchami. Sometimes some people, Prabhupada says, they misspell it as Hara Panchami. It is not. It is Hera, Hernayane, Heribo, Ashada, Jugalaruparashi. Hera means to see. Panchami is the 5th day. So Hera Panchami is that. So this is the day, effectively, the 5th day following the Rath Yatra, in terms of Tithi. And so the goddess of fortune comes to see her consort, her husband, the Supreme Lord Jagannatha. So this is the basic background of Hera Panchami. Mahotsava karataiche vishesha shambhara dekhi Mahaprabhu jaiche hoy chamatkara. He is saying, Prataparudra is saying that please hold this festival in a way, in such a gorgeous way that, what does it say? Mahaprabhu jaiche hoy chamatkar. Mahaprabhu should be astonished. How can Mahaprabhu be astonished? Mahaprabhu himself is a cause of all astonishment. But yes, it is a mood of the devotees. There is a constant competition between the Supreme Lord and his devotees. Who astonishes whom more? And so, King Prataparudra is explaining to here Kashi Mishra that please be ready with all kinds of festoons, cloths, get all the paraphernalia, all the ornaments, everything that is used to decorate, that is there in Thakurer Bhandar, and he says, our Thakurer Bhandare and Amara Bhandare were both in my treasure house or treasury or my storehouse and that of the Supreme Lord. Get everything. What else should we get? Chitra Vastra Kinkiniyara Chatra Chamare. So all these umbrellas, chamaras, all the kind of printed clothes and the small bells, kinkini, small bell. And then he says, Dhvaja Vrinda Pataka Ghantai Karaha Mandana Nanavadya Nittadalai Karaha Sajana. So get all kinds of musical instruments, ringing bells. He says further, what else? Pataka, all kinds of large flags. You see in Jagannath Puri there is some wonderful flags that are fluttering right at the top. It looks almost impossible sometimes when they do Dvajarohan Mahotsav, when you have the Pandas and the Pujaris trying to climb up Jagannath Puri's top spire and the breeze is flowing so heavily. It is only Jagannatha who is protecting them. There is just no doubt. And there are once a year or twice a year we sometimes sponsor the flags on behalf of Iskcon, and His Holiness Gopal Krishna Samara, some disciples sponsor that flag. Anyway, patakas are very important for Krishna consciousness. And so, Dviguna Karya Kara Sabha Upahara Rata Jatra Haitaja Chahaya Chamatkara. You should store twice the quantity of prasadam. As Jagannath Rath Yatra, just imagine Jagannath Rath Yatra is itself so much. There are just so much prasadam, copious quantities of prasadam getting distributed. Now, Prataparudra, King Prataparudra is telling that you should double the quantity of prasadam. What is amazing about this movement? It's the movement of festivals. It is an appearance day, there is a feast. It's a disappearance day, there is a feast. It's a normal day, there is a feast. So here, Hera Panchami, just like people have just recovered from the Jagannath Rath Yatra feast, and immediately, now there is a Hera Panchami feast. I hope Rasraj Prabhu and team have also organized something for today. If not, maybe there is still time, I guess. So it said that Shaita Kariya Prabholaya Bhakta Gana Swachandaya Siya Jaiche Korena Darshana. So Swachanda, it should be so easy. He should be able to have wonderful darshan of the Lord also. It's not just Krishna is not different from prasadam, so you should just have darshan of prasadam. You should have actual Nayanotsav, Netrotsav, Rupa Dhyana of the Supreme Lord. So the job of good management is to facilitate Krishna Katha, Krishna Kirtan, Krishna Prasadam and Krishna Darshan. Darshan can be both Krishna's philosophy as well as actual darshan. We have to provide an opportunity for that. So Mahaprabhu is setting this example to the medium of King Prataparudra, the king. Pratakale Mahaprabhu Nija Ganalaya Jagannatha Darshana Kailash Sundarachale Jaya. So in the morning he went to Sundarachal. We normally do that the day following Rath Yatra and next few days, because Jagannatha is there at Sundarachal, at Gundicha. So devotees go to have darshan of Jagannatha at Sundarachal. And Mahaprabhu is setting the example. So they went to Sundarachal to have darshan of Jagannatha. And then it's mentioned that Nilachale Aila Puna Bhakta Gana Sange Dekite Utkanta Hera Panchami Rarange was very eager to see the colorful gaiety of Hera Panchami. So Mahaprabhu himself came with all these people with a lot of eagerness, with his personal devotees. He came to Nilachal now. And then what? Kashi Mishra Prabhure Bahu Adara Karya, respected him, gave him a lot of respect. Received him and gave a very special place to sit along with his associate. Bhala Stane Basai Lalaya, he made him sit at a very special place, nice place. They gave him a place to sit. It's a way to receive guests is like that. I remember yesterday, one of our department heads had come to visit His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. So Maharaj very beautifully welcomed him, and he first said, "How are you? Your health is okay," and then he just said, he maintained the social distancing and said, "Please be seated. You can keep 6 to 8 feet distance. You can sit there. Please sit." So he made him sit specially, and then he asked his assistants to get water to drink and some prasadam, Mahaprasadam. So Apani Acharya Prabhu Shikhan Shabanu is teaching everyone. The Supreme Lord is teaching everyone, and his associates are also teaching everyone. So here Kashi Mishra is setting their example. He is seating them nicely, and then it is mentioned, Rasa Vishesha Prabhu Rasunita Mana Haila Isha Dhasiya Prabhu Surupe Puchila. So the Supreme Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is himself the source of all rasas. Krishna is Rasika Shekhar. The Upanishads say about the Supreme Lord, Raso Vaisaha Rasagukhe Vayam Labdhvanandi Bhavati. The Supreme Lord is the source of all rasas, and it provides all bliss. When it's obtained, when this rasa is obtained, somebody who receives the rasa is in full bliss, transcendental bliss. So what Mahaprabhu wanted to relish was some rasa swadan. What is the rasa swadan? He wanted to hear a certain particular mellow of devotion service. So he mildly smiled. How is mildly smile? He says, Isha Thasya. Mildly he smiled, and then he asked Swarup Damodar. Now when Srimati Radharani wants to relish mellows, who does she turn to? She turns to Lalita Sakhi. So similarly, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he wanted to relish certain mellows, he turned to Swarup Damodar Goswami. And what did he say? He says, Yadyapi Jagannatha Korena Dwarakaya Vihara Sahaja Prakata Kore Parama Udara Tatapi Vatsara Madde Haye Kabara Vrindavana Dekite Tara Utkanta Apara. Once a year, although he spends most of the time in Dwaraka or Nilachal, but once a year he becomes particularly eager to see Vrindavan, Sundarachal, Gundicha. He is very, very particularly eager. So he wants to go there. Mahaprabhu is, as they say in Hindi, mahol banate na. So he is setting the mood. He is building up something. What is his building up? Let us see. He says, Vrindavana samay upavana gana taha deki bare utkantita hoy mana. All these gardens here, these beautiful trees and forests and plants and everything, they remind me of Vrindavan. So when I see these, I get really eager, anxious to have darshan of Vrindavan. So then, this is Lord Jagannatha's vision. He is eager to see Vrindavan again. And so then what happens? Bahira haite kore rata jatra chala Sundara chale jaja Prabhu chadi nila chala. Externally he gives the excuse that he wants to participate in Rath Yatra. This is an external excuse so that Iskcon can preach. That is the external excuse. But what it means is that he wants to leave Jagannath Puri to go to Sundarachal, the Gundicha temple, a replica of Vrindavan. All three, that's what he mentions. Sundarachal, which is Gundicha temple, which is a replica of Vrindavan. So he wants to go there. Nana pushpodhyane tata khele ratri dine Lakshmi Devi re shankanahi layaki karane. The Lord enjoys his pastimes day and night in these gardens, Upavane, flower gardens. Basically he is talking about this Gundicha or Sundarachal. But Mahaprabhu is asking, he is like provocatively asking, Lakshmi Devi re shange nahi layaki karane. Why doesn't he take Lakshmi Devi with him? This is Supreme Lord asking. And then Swarupa kahe suno Prabhu karuna ihara karana ihara Vrindavana kridate Lakshmi nahi adhikara. No rights. Seva adhikara diye koro neja dasi, we say. for us to have Sevadika. Here Swarup Damodar Goswami is saying, Lalita Sakhi is saying, Lakshmi has no right to take part in Vrindavan Leela. Vrindavan Pas. We have no right. And here we are doing, Lakshmi Pujan. A whole generation of people worshipping only Lakshmi without Narayana. This is the Lakshmi who cannot even Vrindavan pastimes to relish the Supreme Lord. So then, Lakshmi Nahi Adhikara, she cannot be admitted into the pastimes of Vrindavan. She cannot be. It's not like, she chooses not to be as Jagannatha in one sense. She cannot be admitted. Why? Vrindavana Leelai Krishnera Sahai Gopigana Bina Krishnera Harite Nare Mana. So he says, in the pastimes of Vrindavan, only the consorts of the Supreme Lord called the Gopis, they are allowed entry. Why? It says, Krishnera Harite Nare Mana. Gopigana Bina Krishnera Harite Nare Mana. Other than the Gopis, nobody can attract Krishna. Krishna is Karshati iti Krishna, all attractive. Krishna's devotion is Krishna Akarshani. It can attract Krishna. Jai Shri Radha Parthasarthi Lalita Vishaka Shri Gauranitai Shri Sitaram Lakshmana Raman Ki Jai. But Krishna's devotion attracts Krishna himself. And who is the epitome or the zenith of devotion? That is the Gopis. Ramya Kaschitupasana Vrajavadu Vargenayo Kalpita. So therefore, it is mentioned, Prabhu Kare Jatra Chale Krishna Ragamana Subhadrara Baladeva Sangadu Ijana. So, Chala, using the car festival as an excuse. Ratha Jatra is an excuse for the Supreme Lord. Excuse for what? Krishna goes there with Subhadra and Baladev. Goes where? Sundarachal, Gundicha, Vrindavan. Gopi Shanka Jadalila Haye Upabane Niguda Krishnera Bhava Keho Nahi Jane. So all those wonderful pastimes that take place in the gardens between Krishna and his confidential consorts, the Gopis. Nobody knows. Keho Nahi Jane. Nobody knows what happens there. Very confidential. So then, Nataiva Krishnera Prakate Nahi Kichu Dosha Tabe Keno Lakshmi Devi Karajet Tarosha. So in Krishna's pastime there is no shortfall, there is no shortcoming, there is no defect, there is nothing wrong. Because Krishna is Shuddham and Apapa Viddham. He cannot be touched by sin and is pure. Prabhupada uses the translation antiseptic and prophylactic. Those who have studied Bhakti Shastri in Ishopanishad, you would have seen. I am saying Bhakti Shastri because normally many of us don't go beyond the first two shlokas of Ishopanishad once you complete Bhakti Shastri. But it's a wonderful book and you must read, study and use it for preaching. So it is mentioned that there is nothing wrong in Krishna's pastime. Then why does Lakshmi get angry? Normally the wife gets angry with the husband because there is not something wrong in their dealings. But in Krishna's pastime there can be no mistakes, there is no defect. So then how? It says, Swarupa kahe prema batira ekta swabhava kante radha shaleshe hai krodha bhava. So this is the quality of a woman. In English literature, there is one famous saying, beware of the wrath of a woman scorned. If a woman is scorned, she gets angry. Anyway, she is slighted, she gets angry. It's mentioned. I don't know if it is right or wrong, but this, what Swarup Damodar Goswami is saying is definitely right. We don't know what William Shakespeare is saying is right or not, but this is right. Hena kale khachita jahe vibidha ratana suvarnera chodala ghari kori arohana. So she comes bedecked with wonderful abharanas. When we are offering deity worship to the Supreme Lord, when we offer any paraphernalia to the Lord, we say idam abharanam and then we say the Vijay mantra. So it's wearing the abharana. Mother Lakshmi He is wearing all this and she is coming. She is carried by 4 men. It's called Chowdola. Chowdola. Dola means a palanquin and carried by 4 people, it's called Chowdola. And then it is mentioned, the whole thing, Chatra, Chamara, Dvaja, Patakara, Gana, Nana, Vadya, Age, Nache, Devadasi Gana. The Devadasis are dancing in front. They came in Chatra, Chamara, Pataka, all these kind of festoons and all these kinds of decorations. And then they were carrying various things with them. They were carrying pitchers meaning pots. They were carrying many things. They were carrying Vyajana, Chamara. They were carrying all these things. Hara, Divya, Bhushambara. They were carrying many valuable necklaces. Hara, Divyambara. Very special transcendental clothes. They were wearing wonderful clothes and they were carrying wonderful clothes and ornaments. So everything was a festive occasion. This is a festive occasion. Why? Because Lakshmi ji is angry. So if you are angry also in the spiritual world, it's a festival. And it's mentioned therefore, Alaukika Aishwarya Sange Bahu Paribara Kruddhaya Lakshmi Devi Aila Simhadwara. She came to Simhadwara with very transcendental Alaukika Aishwarya. She had wonderful opulence and she came with her associates to Simhadwara. And it is mentioned, Jagannathar Mukha Mukha Jata Vratta Gane Lakshmi Devi Dasigana Korena Bandhane. So Lakshmi Devi's associates, Mukha Mukha, they are the important associate. In Hindi they say na chun chun ke marna. So they picked the important ones and they tied them up. I mean, it's not a bad deal to be bound up by Lakshmi ji's associates, but Bandiyaniya pade Lakshmi ra charane chore chena danda kari layana nadhane. So they were falling at the lotus feet of Mother Lakshmi. They were handcuffed. They fell at the lotus feet of Mother Lakshmi. They were just like thieves who had the riches taken away. They stole something, all that is taken away, and now they are tied up and they are punished. So when Lord Jagannatha starts his car festival, Srila Prabhupada mentions in the purport, he gives an assurance to Mother Lakshmi. Now imagine Krishna giving an assurance to anybody. When Krishna himself has to tell Arjuna, Kaunteya pratijanahi, Ame bhakta pranashyati, it is clear that Krishna's assurances are only worth that much. As they say in English, take it with a pinch of salt. So we take it with a pinch of salt if Krishna gives some assurance. But of course, the Krishna's greatest assurance is also Yogakshema Mahameham and Ma Shucha. And it is perfectly possible for inconsistencies and inconceivabilities to coexist in Krishna. Because Sri Jiva Goswami says that is why he is Bhagavan. If you take away Achintya, he is not Bhagavan. Achintya is an integral, inseparable aspect of the Supreme Lord. So therefore, it is mentioned that they were chastised and made the butt of jokes and loose language. There were all kind of things. It's called Bhanda Vachane, Nana Mata Gali. They were given all kinds of loose talk, abusive language, everything. So it's pretty interesting. Gali is also, it means amusement. It doesn't necessarily mean abusive language. In Hindi it is abusive language. But Srila Prabhupada translates Gali, I don't know if it cannot be Goli because there is A. It's not, it's Gali. It is mentioned as amusement, some fun, making fun of them. Lokmi sange dashiganer pragalpa dekhiya haji Mahaprabhur gana mukhe hasta diya. So when they saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates saw such impudence exhibited by the maid servants of the goddess of fortune, they covered their face with their hands and they smiled. Now, I don't know how you can cover your face and smile. It may be very difficult to see. But then your eyes can move. Then you know that somebody is smiling. So that's how when you wear a mask, you know somebody is happy to see you. The person, the eyes will move like this. Eyes will move. So It must be something like that. Damodara kahaya ichha manera prakara twijagate kaha nahi dekhi shuniyara. This kind of sulking mood, this kind of egoistic pride is not there in the three worlds. It's not there anywhere. Nahi dekhe shuniyara. I never seen it nor heard it anywhere. This kind of egoistic pride. Pretty good, huh? Krishna is pretty interesting. He says, Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sarishna for us. And he relishes it when the gopis and the Lakshmis, they show egoistic pride at him. And Srimati Radharani shows mana. Extraordinary. So therefore no point in trying to know Krishna, just try to love Krishna. And no point in trying to love Krishna without trying to serve Krishna. So we try to serve Krishna. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj said, don't try to see God. Serve in such a way that God will come to see you. I remember His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj was asked right in front of me in Juhu temple, I think 2001 probably, 2001 or 2. Maharaj gave one class, evening youth forum class or something, and as he came out, one boy came to Maharaj and said, Maharaj, have you seen Krishna? I mean, it's a young boy, so when you are a young boy, impudence is forgiven. So he walked up to Maharaj, have you seen Krishna? So Maharaj very casually, without batting an eyelid, said, we don't want to see Krishna, we want to serve Krishna. We just want to serve Krishna, that's it. That's the mood. So here, this is also service in one sense. Krishna is pleased by the egoistic pride of Mata Lakshmi. This is also service in a way. And Manini Nirutsahe Chade Vibhushana Bhume Bashi Nake Leke Malina Vadana. Normally, when a woman is sulking or she's in morose mode, she sits down in one corner and with the toenails she draws lines on the floor. Like that it happens. Now please don't meditate too much. Important thing is just hear it. For both, Prabhujis and Mataji's, both, it's not very great meditation. But we have to understand that this is what Mother Lakshmi does. And Swarup Damodar says, Purva Satya Bhamar Suni Evam Vidamana Braja Gopi Goner Mana Raseranidana. I have heard this kind of pride in Satyabhama, the Supreme Lord's consort in Dwarka. I have also heard of it in the Gopis of Vrindavan. They are the reservoirs of transcendental mellows, thousands of them. It is mentioned that every time the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, has a desire to enjoy, that is when he obviously manifests his Hladini Shakti Srimati Radharani. And every gopi is a manifestation of the desire of Srimati Radharani to serve the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. They all represent desires because his Hladini Shakti keeps expanding. And so are the Lakshmis. Lakshmi Sahasrashata Sambrahma Sevyamana. They are all expansions of Srimati Radhika. Mahabhava Swarupa Sri Radha Thaguradi Sarva Guna Khani Krishna Kanta Shiromani. This is Krishna Kanta and the crest jewel of Krishna, of the consorts of the Supreme Lord. That includes all the Lakshmis or an expansion, all Rama, all Lakshmi, Rama, all the Lakshmi, they are expansions of Srimati Radharani. Some say Satyabhama's expansion of Srimati Radharani, Rukmini's expansion of Chandravali, but Chandravali is an expansion of Srimati Radharani in the ultimate analysis. And Shakti Shaktimatam Abheda, she is the supreme personality of female Godhead. And when the Supreme Lord comes in that mood, how can you conceive him? So therefore it is mentioned. Ihonija Shampati Shaba Prakata Kariya Priyara Upara Jaya Shainya Sajana. So she sees a different kind of pride. She shows a different kind of pride. Mother Lakshmi. So Swarup Damodar is saying that I see a different kind of pride. She manifests her own opulences. She manifests her own opulences. She is out of pride. And she goes with her own soldiers to attack her husband. How's that? So then, Swarup Damodar Gosai wanted Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to know in detail about this. So he is telling the Supreme Lord, my dear Lord, I have never experienced anything like this behavior of Mother Lakshmi. Nowhere in the three worlds. We sometimes see a beloved wife. She becomes proud of her position. And then if she is neglected, she gets frustrated. It happens. Or must happen. probably. So then what does she do? She then doesn't care about her appearance. She looks practically dirty in many ways. See, actually the dirty clothes, she morosely sits on the ground, draws lines on the ground like we discussed earlier. Now this egoistic pride we have seen in Satyabhama and the gopis, but gopis of Vrindavan, but what we see in the goddess of fortune in Jagannath Puri is a completely different form of egoistic pride or mana. She starts becoming very angry with her husband and attacks him with great opulence. Okay. So then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks him about Kaho Brajera Manera Prakar, what are the different types of mana in Vraja? Swarupa Kahe Gopi Mana Nadi Shatadara, like hundreds of rivulets or tributaries of river. There are hundreds of types of sulking or egoistic pride exhibited by gopis. And there are various types of heroines also. Dhira, Adhira and Dhira Dhira Naikas. They express various types of pride or jealousy. One is when they are sober. So there is Rasabhas, there is Anubhas and Asara Bhas or Asara. Things that I don't understand and don't want to speak about. So let's simply understand that there are immense number of mellows exhibited by the gopis, just like there are immense number of mellows. Krishna is Rasika Shekhara. He is the source of all rasas. And he is the source of so many rasas, so the gopis exhibit so many rasas for his pleasure as well. And Srimad Radharani, of course, is the source of that. So they express different kinds of pride as well. That is explained in detail by Swarup Damodar. And just like Ramanand Rai and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had this wonderful exchange. Iho baha age kahua. So here he doesn't say age iho baha, he just says keep saying, keep speaking. And after some time, when all this Vrindavan opulence is mentioned, Srivas Thakur is laughing. Srivas Thakur is laughing and saying, what is your Vrindavan? It is just a small garden or some kind of a village. You have some twigs, some plants, these kind of things. What is Vrindavan? There is nothing. And he says, Amara Lakshmira Deka Sampati Vistara. See, our Lakshmi's opulence, it is so elaborate. This is verse number 203 of the same chapter. And then, Vrindabaner Sampat Deka Pushpa Kishalaya Giridhatu Shikipicha Gunja Phalamaya. So there is some flowers, some twigs, some hills. Of course, that hill is Govardhan. Some water, that is Yamuna. And a few peacock feathers, But this peacock feather adorns Sirasi Shikipicham Gatitate, that Jagannatha. A Gunja Mala, Leela, Gunja Madhura, Leela Madhura, Yamuna Madhura, Vichi Madhura. Even that Gunja Mala that is adorning, some say the Gunja Mala is an expansion of Srimati Radharani. So this is most opulent from a spiritual potency point of view and from a ultimate relish point of view. But Srivas Thakur took on the mood of Narada Muni. Normally Srivas Thakur we know is very humble, etc. Here he has taken the mood of Swabhava, Narader Swabhava. He has taken that mood. And Narada likes some fun. So he wanted to have some fun. So he said this. Vrindavana dekhi bare gela Jagannatha shuni lakmi devir mana hoila shayata. So he experienced restlessness and jealousy. She experienced restlessness and jealousy. Mother Lakshmi, when Jagannath decided to see Vrindavan, she wondered, why did Jagannatha give up so much opulence and go to Vrindavan? What is she saying? Kene gela Vrindavana, ete sampati chadi kene gela Vrindavana, tare hasya korite lakmi korila sajana. Sajana means decoration. She decorated herself, Sajjan. So then the maid servants, they describe again, it's mentioned, the maid servants of the goddess of fortune, they tied up the servants of Lord Jagannatha And so then the question here is that why did Lord Jagannatha abandon this great fortune just for the sake of patra bhala phula labhe gela pushpa badi? What's the big deal? Eta sampatti chadi. You left all these wonderful opulence and going for just some leaves and flowers? Then your master is so expert at everything. But why does he do such things? Now bring your master before the goddess of fortune. This is what Srivas Pandit is saying. And so therefore this whole pastime was enacted. The maid servants of Lakshmi ji got them up, beat them up. They almost fell unconscious at the lotus feet of Mother Lakshmi. They were forced to submit finally. Arakoriya minati. Submission. Minati means submission. And then they began to beat them with sticks. Dandera tadana chora praya kore jagannatha shivaka gana, like thieves they were made. And finally they all submitted. Of course, this continues, and Srivas Thakur continued to address that your gopis, those gopis you talk about, they just churned some milk. They boil milk and churned it into yogurt. That's all they can do. But my mistress, goddess of fortune, sits on a throne of gold, jewels and gems. And then finally Swarup Damodar Gosai explains to him, we have the Chintamani Pragara Sadma Shukalpa Vriksha Laksha Vritesha Surabhira Vipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambrama Sevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So it's also mentioned Chinta Manicharana Bhushana Mangananam Sringara Pushpa Taravasuranam Vrindavane Vrajadhanam Nanukama Deno Vrindani Chedi Sukha Sinduraho Vibhuti. So there also wish-fulfilling cows, Kamadhenus are there. They can deliver unlimited quantities of milk. So they are happy with this wealth. The Vrindavan people are happy. So when he heard this, Srivas Thakur started dancing ecstatically. Shuni prema veshe nritta kori Srinivasa kokhotali bajaye kara atta hasa. He started laughing very loudly, atta hasa. And then he started bale bale madhumangal, he said like that. He started hitting his armpits and then clapping his hands and all that. Radha Shuddha Rasa Prabhu Avesha Shunila Shri Rasa Veshe Prabhu Nitta Arambila. And of course Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu needs an excuse to start dancing. So he started dancing immediately. And because he started dancing, we come to talk about Vakreshwar Pandit, whose disappearance also we are celebrating. Because he is also the founder Acharya of dancing in the Hare Krishna movement. Chanting, dancing and feasting. Chanting is Haridas Thakur. And Swarup Damodar, who is famous for his Kirtan. Dancing is Vakreshwar Pandit. Feasting, if you study Chaitanya Charitam, it is all the Vaishnavas. So here in Sri Chaitanya Bhagavad, Antakhanda, it's mentioned, Vakreshwara Pandita Chaitanya Priya Patra Brahmanda Pavitra Jara Smaranai Matra. Just remembering him, the entire universe becomes pure. Niramati Krishna Preme Viraha Bhivala Jara Nitya Devasura Mohita Sakala. He used to exhibit ecstatic feelings of separation. Devas, Asuras, everybody used to, demigods, demons also, not just demigods, even demons, they used to be amazed by his dancing. So whenever he began to dance, by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, all the ecstatic symptoms used to manifest in him. So this is a learning from Vakreshwar Pandit's pastimes, that we should sing and dance not just as a physical exercise or to stay awake in Bhagavatam class. Before that you dance. It's because we need to eventually look forward to this direction of developing these ecstatic symptoms, not artificially. They will manifest by themselves, but this is the direction. Chaitanya Kripaya Matra Nritya Pravashilaya Shakala Asiya Vakreshwara Deha Mile. Everything used to manifest in his body, Vakreshwar Pandit's body. So special. Bakreshwara Panditera Uddama Bikara Sakala Kahite Shakti Ajaya Kahara. Who has the power to describe Bakreshwara Pandit's unlimited transformations of ecstatic love? Some say he is Tunga Vidya Sakhi, some say he is Aniruddha of the Chaturvyuha expansion. Some say he was also, I think, Shashireka Sakhi. So many aveshas he had. And he said he wants continuously dance for 72 hours. If he dance for 72 minutes in Rath Yatra, it is a major achievement. 72 seconds for me is a major achievement. For me. But just 72 hours. And he said, please give me hundreds of thousands of wings so that I can, and hundreds of thousands of singers who can sing so that I can dance. And the Mahaprabhu said, you know, if I had another wing like Vakreshwar Pandita, I could have danced and flown my way back to God. Vaikuntha. Of course, he is from there. Of course, Devananda Pandit's pastime is there. He was a smarta, effectively. But he was very renounced and he used to study Srimad Bhagavatam. And when Srivas Thakur, who was manifesting ecstatic symptoms, when Bhagavatam was being commented on, his disciples threw him out as a disturbance. And Devanand Pandit did not object. In a sabha, if a Vaishnava is being offended and you don't object, you have to take the offense for that. You have to, if not you have to, we have to. I can't sit here and instruct that all of you should not commit offenses. Well, I will continue to commit offense. No. It is for all of us. This movement is for teaching. Janma shartaka kari karo paropaka. Vaishnava etiquette is first for ourselves and then for others. Others don't follow Vaishnava etiquette, I get upset. But what when I don't follow Vaishnava etiquette? So that's very, very critical. That's why Srila Prabhupada said, the secret of my success is because I was introspective. So anyway, when Vakreshwar Pandit was dancing continuously, the way he was dancing, he could easily have run into somebody. And everybody was trying to touch his lotus feet. So they were trying to obstruct him also in many ways, in one sense, because they want to get some mercy. And when they were trying to do all that, Devanand Pandit guarded him with a stick. He was chasing them away, literally. Vakreshwara Panditana chena jatakhana betra haste apane bolena tatakhana. So he was guarding him with a stick in his hand. So then, he would also clean the dust from Vakreshwar Pandit's body. Dust was all over the body. So, and because of this, what happened? Thakane Janmila Prabhu Chaitanya Vishwasa. He originally did not have faith in Chaitanya. But because he served Vakreshwar Pandit, he developed faith in Lord Chaitanya. In other words, Krishna Bhakti Janma Mula Hoi Sadhu Sangha. Krishna Prema comes from that. Krishna Bhakti is born from Sadhu Sangha. So serving and assisting Vaishnavas is the birthplace of Bhakti. Sadhu Sangha is the birthplace of Bhakti. And it's mentioned, Vakreshwara Pandita Prabhura Purna Shakti Shri Krishna Paye Jaya Tahare Kare Bhakti. Anybody who serves him attains Krishna. Okay, nothing, no? It's only Krishna. Ribo! So Krishna personally resides in the heart of Vakreshwar Pandit. When Vakreshwar dances, Krishna dances. Krishna Nritta Korena Nachite Vakreshwara. So by serving Vakreshwar Pandit, like Aparad, Bhanjan, Puliya, everybody was getting forgiven by Mahaprabhu. Devanand Pandit was also forgiven. Why? Because he served Vakreshwar Pandit. Because of that, his offense against Srivas Pandit was annulled. And it is mentioned by Acharyas elsewhere also that he went and begged forgiveness from Srivas Pandit. That is also mentioned elsewhere. I have to get the exact reference, but I heard one contemporary Acharya mention in his lecture. I have to get the exact reference. So the mood towards Vaishnavas becomes softer, and Mahaprabhu tells Vakreshwar Pandit, Mahaprabhu tells Devanand Pandit that by the same mouth with which you emit poison, you should emit amrita, ambrosia. You should glorify Vaishnavas. If ever we have committed an offense to a Vaishnava, we must glorify that person. And today is also the auspicious disappearance day of Sripad Ayendra Prabhu. I still remember the day when it happened a few years back in Vrindavan. He left his body offering obeisances to the lotus feet of his dear Nitai Sachi Sutta deities. And just like I can imagine Vakreshwar Pandit dancing and Sripad Ayendra Prabhu leading Kirtan in the spiritual world. He is famous for his Kirtan. Sitting in one place, there is one CD or a cassette of Ayendra Prabhu. It's called Kirtan is our bhajan. And the first audio brought out by Sripad Ayendra Prabhu was Vrindavan Mellows, again Rasa. And there are so many people who are copying Ayendra Prabhu's Kirtan Paddhati now, so many. He's so famous. He never left Vraja for a long time, except when Panchatattva arrived. He was there for the Kirtan. And he set up the 24-hour Kirtan. And today also that plaque is there. It says 24-hour Kirtan Mandali forever. And he confirmed that Srila Prabhupada had confirmed his Swarupa to him. So he knows who he is. To be born in the Western world is not a disqualification. It is a qualification if you connect to the Hare Krishna movement. And that is a glorification of Srila Prabhupada's 125th appearance day. That he could create such wonderful devotees who could attain their Swarupa in our own times. It was very difficult to understand Sripad Ayendra Prabhu's behavior. Vrindavan management used to struggle with him many times. Because his behavior is so bewildering. But that's the nature of a pure devotee. Vaishnava Kriya Mutra Bhikhyatana Bhujaya. We can't understand. But those who knew Ayendra Prabhu and interacted with him have seen how glorious as a devotee he is. How on his birthday he would not accept any gift. Some Vaishnavas told me the best gift he would accept was acid for cleaning toilets, because he would go and clean the public toilets in and around Vrindavan temple. He used to do that on his birthday, so to say. And he used to worship hundreds of Saligram Shilas. Even His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj sometimes would consult with him about the nature of a Saligram Shila. He was an authority. And he wrote a great book, The Heart of Book Distribution, which was published later. Very powerful book. Sripad Ayendra Prabhu Tirubhavtidi Mahamahotsav ki, Srila Vakreshwar Pandit Tirubhavtidi Mahamahotsav ki, Hera Panchami Mahamahotsav ki, Srila Prabhupada 125th Anniversary Mahamahotsav ki. We can take one or two comments from senior Vaishnavas. Questions you can ask separately. Want to say something about this?
हरे कृष्ण, धन्यवाद। तो आज बहुत ही पवित्र दिन है। बक्रेश्वर पंडित का तिरुभाव और ऐन्द्रा प्रभु का भी तिरुभाव और हेरा पंचमी। तो हेरा पंचमी की जो लीला है ये कुछ ज़्यादा ही गूढ़ है, इसमें ज़्यादा रहस्य है। हेरा पंचमी तो लक्ष्मी जो देवी हैं भगवान जगन्नाथ के साथ रहती हैं। तो द्वारका धाम जो जगन्नाथपुरी उनका मंदिर द्वारका धाम है, लक्ष्मी के साथ रहते हैं जगन्नाथ जी। और लक्ष्मी जी का जो है बहुत सम्मान भगवान ने बढ़ाया है। लक्ष्मी जी की जो जगन्नाथ जी के प्रति सेवा की भावना है, उस कारण से जगन्नाथ जी भी जो है लक्ष्मी जी को अपने से ज़्यादा सम्मान देते हैं। और जब रथ यात्रा के बहाने जाते हैं तो जाते तो वृंदावन में, गुंडीचा मंदिर वो वृंदावन धाम है, तो जाते तो वृंदावन धाम में, लेकिन बहाना करते हैं रथ यात्रा का। रथ यात्रा का बहाना करते हैं कि कोई व्यक्ति 15 दिन से बीमार था तो अब थोड़ा सा टहलने घूमने फिरने के लिए जाना है। तो लक्ष्मी देवी से जो है वो परमिशन लेते हैं, आज्ञा लेते हैं। मतलब ये नहीं है कि मतलब केवल सूचना दें कि मैं जा रहा हूँ, नहीं, आज्ञा ले रहे हैं लक्ष्मी जी से कि मुझे अनुमति दीजिए। तो लक्ष्मी जी को जो है उन्होंने इतना सम्मान दिया है कि अनुमति मांग रहे हैं जगन्नाथ जी। और अनुमति मांगते हैं तो 1 या 2 दिन के लिए, 1 या 2 दिन के बाद वापस आ जाएंगे। और अब नहीं आते हैं तो भगवान जगन्नाथ ही लक्ष्मी जी को जो है ये अधिकार देते हैं कि वो क्रोध करें। तो क्रोध करने का अधिकार उन्होंने दिया, क्योंकि आज्ञा ले रहे हैं, अनुमति ले रहे हैं, 1 या 2 दिन की अनुमति ले रहे हैं, है ना। सेवक की तरह जो है जगन्नाथ जी जो है लक्ष्मी जी के जो है प्रति व्यवहार करते हैं, कि अपनी जैसे मालकिन हैं तो उनसे जो है वो आज्ञा ले रहे हैं, कि मुझे आज्ञा दीजिए, 1-2 दिन के लिए मैं जाना चाहता हूँ। और गए वहाँ वृंदावन में तो उनका तो अपना अलग ही वहाँ पर आनंद है, तो वो आनंद जो है लक्ष्मी जी को नहीं बताते। तो अब लक्ष्मी जी को जो है जो क्रोध आता है तो वो क्रोध अनुचित नहीं है, वो उचित क्रोध है, क्योंकि जगन्नाथ जी कुछ नहीं बताते हैं कि उनका वास्तव में वहाँ पर क्या आनंद है। तो लक्ष्मी जी यही मानते हैं कि यहाँ का जो आनंद छोड़ करके वहाँ क्यों गए, जबकि ये जो है रसिक शेखर हैं, रस को जो है जानने वाले, आनंद लेने में जो है सबसे कुशल यही हैं। और फिर इस मामले में इतना जो है इनकी जो है मतलब क्या है कमी, इतनी कमी क्यों है कि ये वहाँ पर क्या आनंद प्राप्त कर रहे हैं। तो लक्ष्मी जी का जो क्रोध है वो भी केंद्रित है जगन्नाथ जी के ऊपर, मतलब प्रेम, ये सब जो है जो क्रोध है वो प्रेम का ही भाव है, उनका प्रेम जगन्नाथ जी के प्रति है। और जब आती हैं तो जो है क्रोध अपना प्रकट करते हैं। अब पत्नी है, अगर पति के ऊपर क्रोध प्रकट करे, क्रोध अगर आए तो प्रकट करेगी नौकरों के ऊपर, तो नौकरों के ऊपर ही जो है गुस्सा प्रकट करती है। तो जो जगन्नाथ जी के सेवक हैं उनके ऊपर ही गुस्सा उतारेंगे, है ना। तो अब है तो गुस्सा जो है मतलब पति के ऊपर, तो पति के ऊपर तो गुस्सा नहीं हो सकती, पति से तो प्रेम करती, तो पति के प्रति प्रेम है। और क्रोध अगर पति के ऊपर आए तो गुस्सा उतारेंगी नौकरों के ऊपर, तो नौकरों को जो है बांधती हैं, पीटती हैं, और निंदा करती हैं, जगन्नाथ जी की निंदा करती हैं कि तुम्हारे स्वामी जब इतने जो है कुशल हैं, भोगने में कुशल हैं, पुरुष का मतलब है जो भोगता है, एंजॉयर, तो सबसे श्रेष्ठ भोक्ता, सबसे बेस्ट एंजॉयर तुम्हारे जो है मालिक हैं। लेकिन अब जो है ये इतनी इनके अंदर ये कमी क्यों है कि ये मतलब कहाँ ये आ गए हैं, इनको यहाँ पर क्या सुख मिल रहा है। तो सेवकों को डांटती हैं, सेवकों को डांटती हैं मतलब इस भाव से डांटती हैं कि तुम जो है हमारे पति को जो है कुछ गलत, तुम क्या करते हो, गलत दिशा दे रहे हो। तो हमारे पति को जो है तुमने ही जो है कुछ भ्रांति पैदा कर दी है, भ्रम पैदा कर दिया है, जहाँ सुख नहीं है वहाँ पर वो जो है सुख मान रहे हैं, तो तुम लोगों की गलती है ना। तो इस प्रकार से जो है वो उनसे जो है मतलब वो उनको बुलाती हैं और बंधवाती हैं। और वो जो सेवक हैं अपने को जो है अपराधी मानते हैं, अपराधी मानेंगे, क्योंकि अब स्वामी की अगर कोई गलती हो तो नौकरी जो है अपने को, स्वामी की गलती को नौकर अपने ऊपर लेता है, क्योंकि सच्चे सेवक है, जो सच्चा सेवक होता है तो मालिक की गलती को अपने ऊपर ले लेता है। तो जो सेवक हैं वो अपने ऊपर ले लेते हैं कि हाँ हमारी ही गलती है। तो ये जो है सेवा की भावना है। और फिर जो है वो आश्वासन देते हैं लक्ष्मी जी को कि अपने स्वामी को हम ले आएंगे, आपके सामने लाएंगे, तो जल्दी ही लाएंगे, 1-2 दिन में लाएंगे, लेकिन आप इस स्वामी को तो नहीं ला सकते, और स्वामी अपनी इच्छा से करेंगे, तो उनको तो जब आना है तभी आएंगे। तो इस प्रकार का जो भाव है लक्ष्मी जी का, तो ये भी जो है एक आदर का भाव है, मतलब इसका भी आदर, जगन्नाथ जी इसका भी सम्मान करते हैं कि लक्ष्मी जी की ये भावना है। अब चूँकि लक्ष्मी जी अपने ऐश्वर्य के भाव में हैं, तो वो वृंदावन के भाव को नहीं समझ सकती, तो उनका प्रवेश नहीं है, वृंदावन की लीला में प्रवेश नहीं है। तो जगन्नाथ जी भी जो है लक्ष्मी जी का ये दोष नहीं मान रहे हैं कि लक्ष्मी जी के अंदर कोई दोष है, क्योंकि वो ऐश्वर्य भाव में जब भगवान की सेवा करती हैं तो उनके भाव का भी भगवान आदर करते हैं। लेकिन जो माधुर्य भाव है वृंदावन में, तो वो जो है उनको संतुष्ट करता है। तो लक्ष्मी जी को ये जो है पता नहीं है, वो समझ नहीं पाती हैं, लेकिन अपने भाव के अनुसार जो है वो जगन्नाथ जी के ऊपर जो क्रोध करती हैं, तो इसे कहा जाता है लक्ष्मी विजय। और जो श्रीवास पंडित है वो लक्ष्मी जी का पक्ष लेते हैं, लक्ष्मी जी का पक्ष लेते हैं। तो चैतन्य महाप्रभु जो हंसने लगे कि ये नारद जी हैं, और नारद जी क्या करते हैं, हमेशा झगड़ा कराते हैं, तो लक्ष्मी जी का पक्ष लेकर जो है वो स्वरूप दामोदर को जो है वो मतलब कहते हैं कि देख लो हमारी लक्ष्मी जी का ऐश्वर्य है, तुम्हारे जो है वृंदावन का जो है क्या ऐश्वर्य है, वहाँ तो केवल कुछ जो है पत्तियाँ हैं, कुछ फूल हैं, क्या है हमारे देखो लक्ष्मी जी का क्या ऐश्वर्य है, हाँ कितना जो है चमर है, कितने जो है वस्त्र हैं, कितने जो है सब जो है ऐश्वर्य इतना भरा हुआ है, और हमारी लक्ष्मी जी जो है मतलब अपना ऐश्वर्य दिखलाती हैं और अपना गुस्सा दिखलाती हैं और रथ भी तोड़ती हैं। आज के दिन रथ भी तोड़ा जाता है, तो रथ के ऊपर भी गुस्सा दिखाती हैं लक्ष्मी जी, अब गुस्सा तो उतारना है, कहाँ किसके ऊपर उतारना है, तो रथ के ऊपर भी गुस्सा उतारती हैं। ये रथ जो है हमारे पति को ले गया था, तो रथ के ऊपर गुस्सा उतारते हैं, रथ भी तोड़ के जाते हैं, तो इसको कहते हैं लक्ष्मी विजय। तो इस प्रकार से जो है लक्ष्मी जी का भी सम्मान है, भगवान जगन्नाथ की लीला में जो है लक्ष्मी जी का सम्मान है, और उनका जो है भाव, जो ऐश्वर्य का भाव है उसके अनुसार वो जगन्नाथ जी के ऊपर क्रोध करती हैं और वो जो है असंतुष्ट होती हैं। तो इसमें एक हंसने वाली एक जो है कहानी मुझे याद आ रही है। तो वही जो आध्यात्मिक जगत में इस प्रकार का जो क्रोध प्रदर्शन है वो इस भौतिक जगत में भी होता है। तो एक व्यक्ति था जिसकी पत्नी जो है हमेशा झगड़ा करती रहती है, तो बेचारा बड़ा परेशान रहता है, उसकी पत्नी जो है उसको शांति से रहने नहीं देती है। तो अब शांति पाने के लिए अपनी पत्नी को जो है कुछ वो बहाना बनाता है कि मैं कुछ दिनों के लिए जाऊंगा उस शहर में, तो वहाँ मुझे जो है कुछ अच्छी हवा मिलेगी और कुछ जो है बीमारी का इलाज हो जाएगा। इस प्रकार से बहाना बना करके दूसरे शहर में आ जाता है। अब जब चिट्ठी लिखता है अपनी पत्नी को तो यही लिखता है कि यहाँ पर मैं शांति के साथ रह रहा हूँ, हर बार लिखता है मैं यहाँ पर शांति के साथ रह रहा हूँ। तो उसका तो संकेत यही है तुम्हारे साथ में तो मुझे शांति मिलती नहीं है, मैं यहाँ पर शांति के साथ रह रहा हूँ। और वो जो पत्नी है हर बार पत्र पढ़ती है तो बहुत मतलब उसको नाराज़ी होती कि ये शांति के साथ रह रहा है, ये शांति के साथ यहाँ रह रहा है, और मुझे छोड़ दिया शांति के साथ रह रहा है। तो कोई दूसरी पत्नी इसने कर ली है, शांति के साथ रह रहा है। तो एक बार जो है ट्रेन में बैठ करके आ गई अकेले और हाथ में बेलन लेकर के आ गई, बेलन लेकर के आ गई और बोली कि तुम बताओ कहाँ है वो शांति। तुम बार बार चिट्ठी में लिखते थे मैं शांति के साथ रह रहा हूँ, शांति के साथ रह रहा हूँ, मतलब बेलन लेके आई कि मैं उसको जो है भगाऊंगी। तो वास्तव में शांति को भगा दिया, तो दूसरे उसकी शांति को भगा दिया उसने, तो वो समझ नहीं पा रही है शांति का मतलब क्या है। यार शांति का मतलब वास्तव में क्या था, उसको जो है मतलब बड़ा राहत मिल रही है कि पत्नी से दूर हो गया तो उसको राहत मिल रही है, तो उसकी राहत उसकी शांति को भगा दिया उसने और बेलन लेकर के आई। तो यही जो है जो जगन्नाथ जी के लिए लक्ष्मी जी भी जो है मतलब गुस्सा दिखाते हैं, क्रोध करते हैं, ये आध्यात्मिक जगत में शुद्ध रूप में होता है ये सब क्रोध, और उसी का ही जो है भौतिक जगत में विकृत प्रतिबिंब है। ये भौतिक संसार में लोग जो है अगर भोगना चाहेंगे तो स्त्री से जो है कभी शांति नहीं प्राप्त होगी। स्त्री को भोगना चाहते हैं तो कभी शांति नहीं प्राप्त हो सकती है। तो पति को जो है चाहिए कि अपनी पत्नी को भगवान की सेवा में लगाए, उसको भी भगवान की दासी माने और उसका भी सम्मान करे। इस प्रकार से जो है उसको शांति मिल सकती है। हरे कृष्णा।
श्री चैतन्य चरितामृत की जय, हेरा पंचमी महामहोत्सव की जय, कृष्ण पंडित तिरुभावती महामहोत्सव की जय, श्रीपाद इंद्र प्रभु तिरुभावती महामहोत्सव की जय, शिला प्रभुपाद 125th एनिवर्सरी महामहोत्सव की जय, निताय निताय गौर सीतानाथ प्रेमानंद।
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,